Hi, folks. Mark Merrill with Firm, Fairness in Reporting Media. We're going to be continuing on with some more information that you, the American people, especially Maine people, need to know about. It's called fraud. As an investigation starts with top Republicans in the Maine legislature. We'll tell you who they are here in just a second, but thanks for joining us. Top Republicans in the Maine legislature recently, as far as like around May 16th, called for an investigation into an organization called Gateway Community Services for MaineCare fraud. Now, Senator Matt Harrington, you can see up here, an assistant minority leader in the Senate, called Thursday for an investigation into the MaineCare-funded Migrant Services Agency after a whistleblower report. Mr. Harrington, along with another leader, Trey Stewart, in the minority GOP Maine Senate, are going to be investigating the Democratic Party, but they are directing Janet Mills, the governor, to investigate Gateway Community Services. And it's because a former employee of Gateway exposed a shocking scheme the Migrant Services Agency has allegedly used to defraud MaineCare for at least 5 years. Now, this is just not, a lot of this stuff isn't just going to be like spaghetti thrown up against the wall, as the old adage goes, and see if anything sticks against these Democrats who seem to be Teflon savvy or Teflon nothing. Yeah, they're nothing, all right. Like they're above the law still. They don't believe in the Constitution. But here's how Mr. Harrington put it in a Facebook post. Maine taxpayers deserve answers, and they deserve them now. Harrington said, "We need a full-scale investigation into the fraud that's being allowed to occur within the Maine DHHS." We got some more details on that one, folks. The one posted by Matt Harrington is a bit lengthy, but you need to know about it, ladies and gentlemen. These are the people who represent you, or at least they're supposed to. The Republican Party is trying to do their best, but seems like in the majority of the Democrats, which is barely, seem to keep shutting them down, and Janet Mills has already censured Laura Libby, and God knows what next she'll do just to keep everybody quiet. You can only keep the truth covered so long. If you know what I'm talking about, folks. This is how Mr. Harrington puts his post up. Welfare fraud? What welfare fraud? Maine taxpayers deserve answers, and they deserve them now. We need a full-scale investigation, as you heard. In case you missed it, he says. The Robinson Report, which is a gentleman, Steve Robinson, who writes for the Maine Wire, has shined a light on troubling whistleblower allegations involving systemic fraud in the MaineCare system. The situation involves the Gateway Community Services, a provider previously audited by the Maine Department of Health and Human Services. The audit found Gateway overbilled MaineCare by nearly $1 million between 2015 and 2017. As of 2022, the money still hasn't been repaid. Gee, why is that? I thought Janet Mills was getting a little bulky there. Maybe Aaron Fry, too. Mills and her administration provided no public explanation as to why. Even worse, despite the fraud, Gateway has been allowed to continue billing MaineCare to the tune of $28 million between 2019 and just to last year, 2024. On top of that, the Mills administration awarded Gateway multiple additional state contracts for community outreach, further enriching an organization that's already ripped off taxpayers. This isn't just a paperwork issue. This is systemic negligence, fiscal mismanagement, and possibly outright corruption. We must investigate this report fully. Maine taxpayers deserve answers. Posts Mr. Harrington. Gee, I'm surprised a censure hasn't come down from Mills yet. Or Aaron Fry. They're too busy dodging bullets still from Donald Trump, and they refused to agree that Title IX is federal law when it comes to biological women playing sports and not transgender men. Still dealing with that. Gateway, folks, is a social services agency based in Portland. Serves primarily the asylum seeker population. That kind of opens another Pandora's box and lots of other things, doesn't it, folks? The agency is in the hot seat, because former employees revealed to the Robinson Report that Gateway's billing practices look a lot like Medicaid fraud. Chris Bernardini, a former billing specialist for Gateway, will make sure and keep his name in the spotlight, ladies and gentlemen. You want to remember him. He's the one. He's the whistleblower. A former billing specialist for Gateway, he alleged that the company routinely fabricated and manipulated both paper and electronic records to bill MaineCare, Maine's version of Medicaid, as we all know, for services that were never provided. How ludicrous and lying and actually pretty stupid can you get? A second employee who corroborated Mr. Bernardini's story asked details concerning the padding of time cards as well as document forgery. I was going to finish it all off here, folks. It gets worse and worse. According to ex-employees, the elaborate scheme operated for at least 5 years, as we said, and helped Gateway boost its share of taxpayer money from 2019 to 2024. And Gateway collected more than the $28 million from MaineCare, according to state records. Oh, it's on the state records. Those been lost by any chance, or maybe redacted by the deflectocrats, which is why we call them that? The scheme alleged operated despite even a LePage-era audit that found Gateway had overbilled MaineCare by nearly $1 million from 2015 to 2017. Documents previously published by the Maine Wire revealed that Gateway had yet to pay any of that money back. Bernardini told the Robinson Report, who writes for the Maine Wire. I don't understand how they've gotten away with it for as long as they have, he said. He was also documented as saying, looking back, I don't know how. I didn't see how much of it was really fraud. I thought I was doing good by weeding out anything I thought it was fraud. Now, criminal allegations require criminal investigations. Now, the allegations, if true, would implicate Gateway CEO Abdullahi Ali and other leaders at the company, potentially including Representative Dekha Dalak, who was a House representative and Democrat from South Portland, and a host of state and federal crimes, including Medicaid fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, forgery, and more. Gee, you know what? This is getting more and more sound like the Obama and Biden administration all the time. No one at Gateway has responded to press inquiries about these allegations, but Bernardini, the whistleblower, as we said, ran Gateway Community Services billing for MaineCare Section 28 and personal support services, both of which include autism services. Coincidentally, these are the same services at the heart of a fraud scheme the FBI unraveled within Minnesota's Somali community following the $250 million Feeding Our Future scandal. The FBI probe into misappropriated COVID-19 funds in Minnesota exposed how dodgy autism care outfits were systematically abusing Medicaid. Oh, Tampon Tim, you're a jerk. He's about as dirty as they get, folks. And then his daughter speaks out about calling Trump names. She's barely dry behind the ears, as we've already posted several times, not only on YouTube, but on X. She needs to shut the hell up. or face prosecution herself. Once again, against the sitting president of the United States, folks. This is getting to be a little bit ridiculous when it comes to the law. Oh, we don't obey the law in Minnesota. My dad's in charge. Your dad couldn't be in charge of taking money at a merry-go-round because he's on one. And he's riding it all the way to hell, as far as the rest of us are concerned, who obey the law. Now, we're going to wrap this one up here, folks, but we've got one more story to reveal that's not connected to MaineCare or the Maine legislature or you fine people from the great state of Maine. But as far as the hospitals are concerned, a couple of more things here from Maine General Medical Center. And once again, we have to show you Mr. Howell, Jay, I believe. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Nathan Howell, the CEO of Maine General Medical Center. This one right here is Thayer Unit. And the one below is the Cancer Center, the Alphon Cancer Center in Augusta. He's the CEO. Here's what he said in a recent Healthcare Matters release for the quarter, spring and summer of this year. Technology, he says, is also in use to help our most vulnerable patients who are discharged from the hospital. Remote patient monitoring helps keep those patients healthy in their homes and alerts staff when something doesn't seem right. What else is so interesting here, though, folks, was something we want to point out as we revealed a lot of this from our last program about our problems around the country, but also here in Maine. The state of health care. You can look that one up on Rumble and X and YouTube. Fairness Media 1, by the way. Maine General is not immune from the financial challenges facing Northern Light Inland Hospital in Waterville. All of Maine's nonprofits are challenged right now. They include MaineCare payments delay. Refer to the previous story. Declining reimbursement rates and denials of payment. Gee, I wonder why all these things are adding up and like things aren't being taken care of on the books. You know, the old P&L or profit and loss statements. Yeah, I kind of know a lot about those. 340B pharmacy program threat. Now, this is a good one, folks. Pharmaceutical companies are undermining the program's effectiveness, reducing revenue, increasing cost of doing business, rising costs of healthcare operations such as supplies, wages, and health insurance are contributing to the financial strain. But this is the one right here, folks. This one right here should make you enraged to do something about this and join the rest of us. You want answers. Our law-abiding citizens go down the drain, have to move, or have to get new physicians or nurses or practitioners to stay healthy. Impending federal government changes, possible changes to Medicare and Medicaid, cutting federal and state support to covered individuals and or those health systems that serve them. Sure. Don't think so. You have a health care provider or your primary care provider, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get in touch with them. You want to make sure that you find out where they are going to. Or how you can get or continue to get health care while hospitals close and doctors and nurses have to scurry to find new employment. And lastly, folks, this one bears a lot of interest and presentation. and importance to the general public. Because as far as we're concerned here at Firm, we're all about defending the free speech. Looks like the FCC got caught in the cookie jar. You wouldn't think so. But a federal appeals court, May 19th, struck down a Federal Communications Commission, or the FCC, rule that required broadcasters to report workplace diversity data. See what I mean? To the agency, finding the FCC does not have the authority to compel the reporting of such information. Circuit Judge Jennifer Walker Elrod wrote for the unanimous U.S. Court of Appeals of the Fifth Circuit that ruled in favor of a broadcaster and broadcasting organizations that challenged the rule. The FCC did not respond to a request immediately. But it says in this reality paragraph of the report, folks, from a Zachary Stieber, I think. Stieber. I believe it's Zachary Stieber of the Epic Times, by the way. The FCC in 2024 mandated that many TV and radio broadcasters must on an annual basis report race, ethnicity, and gender data of employees. Broadcasters were required to report the data using a document called a Form 395B. Here's the kicker. There always is one. The FCC had collected the form periodically until 2002, which was 23 years ago. Hello. When it adopted regulations concerning equal employment that addressed court rulings that found commission rules were, oh no, unconstitutionally pressuring broadcasters to recruit and hire women and minorities. Seriously, folks, I know. I'm changing my voice for a reason. They were being pressured to recruit and hire women and minorities. And that's it. One more thing on this particular story, folks. The American Family Association and other plaintiffs sued, arguing that the FCC did not have legal authority to require workplace data reporting and that requiring the disclosure and publication of the data violated their constitutional rights. And the FCC pointed the court to the 1992. Why are you going so far back, guys? That's not going to help your case any. Anyway, goes back to an act. The 1992 Cable Television Consumer Protection and Competition Act, which it said authorized the commission to collect that data. Oh, come on! DEI? It wasn't even publicized until the Obama administration, late in the Obama administration. Not even on social media, for goodness sakes. 1992. Of course, you can't put anything past Bill and Hillary, I guess. Oy. Finally, on this topic, folks, the cited law does let the FCC take actions to execute its functions, but, see, there's always a but or a however. You gotta love those, folks, because that's where the truth comes out. So, the FCC did not show that collecting the data for DEI is one of the functions the appeals court ruled. The law also authorizes the FCC to investigate broadcasters, but the FCC did not show that those powers include probes into employment demographics, said the judges in the appeals court. There, on black and white. La-di-da-di-da, la-di-da-di-dee. And you know what? It stinks to be them. The FCC. For more information, folks, we can put some links up there once again, but we also did them on the put them up on the last episode when we were talking about the state of health care. So you can find them there. Links to Maine General Medical Center, but also check us out right here. Anytime for any of our episodes, over 360 now, through Rumble to YouTube and Twitter, and also We appreciate at the bottom of this link, this page right here. Contact us at fairnessandreportingmedia@gmail.com, fairnessandreportingmedia@gmail.com. As always, Mark Merrill, your host for FARM, Fairness and Reporting Media. Take care of yourselves. Peace to all.